So it's a Friday late afternoon. I've just arrived in Pean. I've just been walking for a couple of hours and cycling for half an hour before that. It's been about a year since I've been here, and every time I come I just forget how amazing it is, how beautiful it is, and how much rock climbing there is to do here. I first was sort of told about this glen by a couple of people separately who'd passed through here for different reasons, and had said, Dave, there is a lot of rock in this glen, you've got to check it out. And I came and ran in here and I was just looking, and it's just like crags everywhere. You can see them, just a handful of them up there behind me, and some of those crags are massive. They're more than 100 meters high, and I don't know if you can make out in the cols behind me there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of boulders in this glen. And the interesting thing about it is both the crags and the boulders are in general quite compact. They're quite lacking in holds and cracks and things like that. Not to say that there's no easy climbing here, because there's just so much rock that there is plenty of everything. But a lot of the boulders that I've been looking at, I look at them and I just think, that's too hard for me, or at least it's too hard for me to do quickly. I rarely ever say a boulder's too hard for me, because you just don't know until you try them many times. But I tell you what, like you guys from MacLeod, if you're looking for some 48C pluses to come and do like many of them, and good ones, you should come and check this place out. It's really, really good. And of course, it's also in a very beautiful and remote setting, which may be not a selling point for some people, but I think it is a selling point for me. It is a little bit logistically difficult to get in here. It's 2.5 hours from the road, and even then you've got an hour on a one-way single track road, which is sort of going nowhere. But you can still come and climbing here for the day from my house. In fact, I worked until 12:30 today. It's now, I think, about 3:30 or something like that, and I've just arrived. I'm at the top of one of the crags just now, but I think I'm going to go up the hill and check out one up there and look at just look at the buttress. Just, I don't know, I've done one trad route in this glen and around 20 boulder problems so far, and I've done a lot of wandering around looking at things going, wow, that looks amazing, I've got to come back and try that. And some of it, a couple of routes that I abseiled down to clean, they looked great, but they had just no protection on them. So I sort of thought, well, they look good, but maybe not a great starting place. So today, let's see if we can find something good to climb. And then tomorrow I'll have a rest day, and then I'm coming in here with Ian Small on Sunday. And you never know, maybe we'll climb a new route or two. So I'm doing it again. I'm getting distracted. I'm intending to go up that way to to try a route on the wall there, but I just can't help but look at that amazing looking wall behind me there. I'm going to have a wee wander over and check it out. This is what I did about the first half a dozen times I came to this glen. I spent about 5 hours just like wandering around, going wow, 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 and then going, oh, it's getting dark. I can't help it, I'm just going to go over and have a look at this wall. It looks brilliant, if bold. That looks spectacular, and it does look pretty featured. I reckon that looks E5 minimum, but I think probably more likely E7. Looks great. Whoa, what to do? I'm getting headless chicken syndrome again. Just down in that area down there in the col. Well, actually that's where I've done most of the boulder problems that I've done here. And there are some spectacular boulders. I was almost going to just boulder today, but I thought no, I should make an effort while it's still nice and warm weather. Isle of Rum in the background there, beyond Loch Morar. And I guess you can probably hear the stags roaring away. You know, one thing I always think when I'm here is that even if I don't get any climbing done, which I mean could happen because I can't even see an obvious beelie at the top of this crag to abseil down and clean the route I want to try. Maybe the route will be too hard, maybe it will not be right or whatever. But even if there's no climbing to be had, I'll still be really glad that I came here. It's just such an amazing place. I just feel like it's not lost on me that I'm really sort of privileged to be able to come here and enjoy this glen. As far as I know, I'm the only person in the glen, and I think I've only seen 1 or 2 people once or twice in the times I've been here. And of course, it's also not lost on me that I have the privilege of opening some of the first new routes, if not the first new routes I think, that have been done in this glen. I have that feeling of like massive abundance, and it's a bit sort of scary to start with because you're like, well, where do I start? but there's also the kind of comforting feeling that there's a lifetime's worth of climbing here. I'm never ever going to get bored climbing close to home, which is great because I really sort of thrive off that. The quality of the rock here is really good. The roots are really hard. Like, I look at them and I just think, oh, I'm just not good enough to climb that. And that also really inspires me to train. So to have roots that are hard enough that inspire you to train, but they're also inspiring because they're in an amazing place. It's just a perfect combination, really. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking and get into it. I cleaned the route in the dark and walked out in the middle of the night, and then returned on the Sunday morning with Ian Small. After more cleaning on both our projects and beeling Ian on his E7 new route, I returned to the buttress and tied into the lead ropes. I really struggled getting the crucial cams in to protect the crux. They're very shallow placements and I just couldn't get one of the cams to seat, so I was a little bit uncomfortable with continuing, but I climbed back down to the ground for a rest and then had a wee think about it. On one hand, it's a very remote and serious place to hurt yourself, but on the other hand, it's also a long way to come and then go home having not done your route when really you could actually just do it. So I just tied in and had a go. Thankfully the breeze just started to come back just as I was starting to climb, and actually through the crux I felt really, really good. And I didn't even notice the only good runner, which was the very first wire, popping out just after I did the crux move. Once beyond the crux you have a really good rest and you can relax a bit and arrange some protection for the next part. And that gear is really good, but the top two pieces are not 100%, so it would still be rather better if you didn't fall off that top section, which is probably about E6, 6B on its own. I just tried to remind myself that I managed to dispatch the crux a lot easier than I had done when I was trying the moves on the shunt, and so the top would probably go like that as well, and that's exactly what happened. I felt really good on it. Quite hard moves going across the wall here.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, it's on the purple. I am a bit pumped.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine.
It was absolutely brilliant to get that rough jug on the arete and cutlass. I feel like I'm beginning to get started in that glen, and I've done a couple of routes on a couple of different buttresses now. Hopefully the headless chicken syndrome will be subsiding and I can go back very soon with a more focused approach and see if I can find a really hard and really good project that will sort of focus my efforts for the rest of the autumn or perhaps into the spring. It's feeling very cold at the house today, and I'm not sure there's too much more trad climbing left in the season, especially for slightly higher crags here. But we'll see. If it gets too cold, I can always just get the bouldering mats out and try the boulder projects. And it is a really fantastic feeling to think that so far I'm only just scratching the surface.